All right, let's get right into it. There is a massive shift happening in the world of software development, and if you're in the Android ecosystem, you're right at the heart of it. We're witnessing a complete structural realignment, moving away from the world of writing code line by line to something totally new, a world where we supervise AI agents. And believe me, this isn't just about going faster. It's about fundamentally changing what it means to be a developer.
And look, this isn't some scary story about replacement. It's a story about elevation. I think this quote from Boris Cherny at Anthropic just hits the nail on the head. The whole point here isn't to get rid of coding. It's to get rid of wrestling with all the boilerplate, the tedious details, which frees us developers up to focus on what we really do best: architecture, user experience, and the overall vision. So what does this new way of working actually look like? Well, we're talking about a fundamental change in how Android apps get built. We're shifting from being, typists, hunched over a keyboard, implementing every little detail, to becoming supervisors who guide these incredibly powerful AI agents to do the heavy lifting for us. And just to be clear, this isn't some sci-fi future we're talking about. This is happening right now. Get this, tools like Claude Code are already responsible for about 4% of all global commits on GitHub. That signals a massive shift from, an experimental toy to a tool that's being integrated into real production-level workflows. This slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? The old versus the new. On the left, you've got the traditional grind, writing every single line, setting up all the boilerplate yourself, hunting down every bug one by one. But on the right, you have the agentic workflow. You provide high-level goals, just using natural language, and the AI handles the nitty-gritty implementation. Your role? It shifts. It becomes about oversight, judgment, and steering the ship in the right direction. Okay, so we've established the what. Now let's dive into the how and meet the tool that's really at the center of this whole transformation: Claude Code. This is the agent that's making this new workflow a reality for so many of us. First off, what even is a coding agent? Well, the best way to think about it is like a junior developer on your team. It's an AI assistant that is so much more than a fancy autocomplete. It can read your entire project, it can write new code across multiple files, it can run commands in the terminal to test its own work, and this is the crazy part, it can even fix its own errors. It's a true collaborator. So Claude Code specifically is a terminal-native agent. That means it lives right there in your command line, and it has access to the whole repository. Now, this is a huge deal. It means you can ask it to do really complex stuff that touches the entire codebase, like running a Greedle build to see if anything broke, or using the Android debug bridge to interact with a device. And getting started is surprisingly simple for such a professional tool. It really just boils down to 3 steps. First, you just make sure you have a reasonably new version of Node.js. Second, you run one simple command to install Claude Code on your machine. And third, the very first time you run it, it'll pop open a browser to log you in and link your account. That's it, you're ready to go. And here's just a quick peek at the technical checklist. It's all pretty standard stuff, right? You need Node.js, you need the package itself, you do that one-time login, and it runs everywhere. Mac OS, Windows, Linux, there's nothing weird or exotic here. It's built to slide right into a normal developer setup. Okay, so this tool is incredibly powerful. But with great power comes the need for, great governance. This is where we shift gears from just playing around and seeing what magic comes out to using a disciplined, repeatable method that guarantees quality and consistency. So here's one of the biggest risks when you're working with AI-generated code, something called architectural drift. That's where the AI starts using, say, different patterns in different parts of your app and things get messy. To stop that, you have to give the agent a memory, a persistent set of instructions, and that memory lives in one single, absolutely critical file: Claude.md. I just love this analogy from the source material. The Claude.md file is basically like an old-school PlayStation 2 memory card. Before every single session, every single time you talk to it, the agent loads this file to remember the specific rules of your project. What's your tech stack? What are your architectural patterns? This makes sure it always starts with the right context. And this file is where you turn the agent from just a general-purpose coder into a specialist for your code base. You tell it your project stack, which stops it from, trying to use old XML layouts. You define strict architectural rules, like keeping logic out of the UI. You even give it the build commands so it can check its own work. This is the absolute key to making it all work consistently. So once you have that governance in place with your .clud file, what does the actual day-to-day workflow look like? This is the disciplined process that separates professional, maintainable software from just, vibe coding and hoping for the best. Yeah, so professionals are really starting to land on this 4-phase workflow. It basically treats the AI like that junior developer who needs some oversight. First is research. The agent just reads the code to get the lay of the land. Second is plan. It comes up with a detailed step-by-step plan that you, the senior developer, have to approve. Then it implements that plan, one testable step at a time. And finally, you validate that the whole feature works as intended. No shortcuts. Now, this is where things get really, really interesting. I mean, editing text files is cool, but what if the agent could actually use your other tools? That's where something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, comes into play. Just think of it like a bridge that gives the AI hands to interact with the world outside of your source code. And this is just incredible. With these MCP bridges built specifically for Android, the agent can suddenly manage your Gradle builds, it can use ADB to deploy an APK straight to your emulator, and it can even read the logcat output to debug its own work. This is the jump from being a code generator to becoming an autonomous engineer. It can write the code, build it, run it, and then check the logs to see if it actually worked. Wow. So when you put all of this together, the agentic workflow, the governance through that memory card file, the tool integration, it all leads to this really profound conclusion. It's a complete redefinition of what it even means to be a developer. And this, of course, brings us to the big question, right? The elephant in the room that every developer is thinking about. If an AI can handle all the nitty-gritty implementation details, is my job at risk? And the answer is a definitive, resounding no. The job isn't obsolete, it's elevated. Your focus just shifts away from the mechanical act of typing code. Your real value is in all the high-level tasks that AI can't do, providing the architectural vision, ensuring the quality is top-notch, making those subtle judgments about user experience, and maybe most importantly, making sure that what's being built actually delivers value to the business. At the end of the day, this is what the future looks like. It's a powerful, integrated partnership. The human developer becomes the architect, the one with the vision, the creativity, the judgment, and the AI agent, it's the master builder, handling the mechanical but still incredibly complex job of turning that vision into clean, working code. And that really leaves us with one final inspiring thought. For years, the biggest bottleneck between a great idea and a real product has been the immense effort of implementation. But if an AI can handle the code, what will you build with your vision?